Hello. Um, September 10th, 2024. Right now, there's a presidential debate going on. But you know what I believe is it doesn't matter who's president. I think they work for the same people. Do you want to talk about conspiracies? Do you want to talk about who invented the word conspiracy? Um, I don't really give a shit about any of that. I really think that I've been learning about manifesting and God being inside me and all this stuff. And to me, it looks like the outside world is made in a way to make you not believe that so that you just accept negative shit. Does that make sense? Um, like, for instance, it's a down economy. And I know my competitors are feeling the down economy, but I felt like last week I was like, oh shit, has the tide changed? Am I in trouble now? Because I didn't have much work, but I believe the universe gave me ample time and opportunity to do other things with my life, figure other things out. And then now, today I was super busy. Um, it's like eight something right now, almost nine. So I just took a shower. Like I just got home. Things are going well. I have a full day tomorrow too. So I was thinking today about how during the vid, I was on social media and I was watching the news and it wasn't just there was panic over everything. Obviously, people buying toilet paper and shit like this, but there's panic over like I was talking to some people at the time, and they're like, "Oh, I went to Costco. There's no meat anymore. You better pack up on load up on meat because you don't know blah blah blah." And then obviously there was no fucking. It's fine. There's plenty of meat. Um, it's the first time I went through something like that. You know what I mean? Like when you're a kid, I suppose your parents provide for you, just expect everything to be okay. So you didn't pay attention. But that crisis or whatever, I still have a family. Like I thought, worst case scenario, we'll get together and hang out. But we'll become a family again. We won't. Um, so my point is that when you pay attention to negative things, you get negative things. There's this book, As a Man Thinketh, by James Allen. And it goes along again with everything that I fucking read in here. You know what I mean? Like, your thoughts create your reality. So, negative thoughts will create a negative reality. Um, it's a hard thing to teach people. You have to kind of see it yourself. And once you see it yourself, then it's like, oh, it's me. My bad. So, couple that with like projection. Like, when you have a negative, someone's opinion on the world is actually a confession of character. So, what you have going on up here, there's like this super like red faced MAGA guy that goes to my gym, and I made the mistake of saying hi to him on the way out of the gym, like, "Oh, hey, how's your business going?" or whatever, and then of course I'm cornered and have to have a conversation I want to have for half an hour, and he's all riled up about if there's an assassination attempt, um, the Patriots are going to get together and do this and do that, and um, my wife was like, "We need a motorhome." I was like, "What are you gonna do with a motorhome? The streets are gonna be fucked." So I bought a mountain bike, or not a mountain bike, some fucking off road. I forgot what it's called. Whatever John Connor was riding. He's like, "We're gonna go straight to the mountains," and I'm thinking like in my head, I'm like, "Okay, you, two kids, your wife, so like all of you are gonna fit, and this dude's heavy." I was like, "How much gas does that hold?" He's like, "Well, I have enough space for like another tank of gas." I was like, "You get to the mountains and then." Now what? You're gonna kill people for food? It's like, and then what, dude? I was like, just calm down. Everything's gonna be fine. You know, the world always looks like it's going to end. That's part of the game. Just fucking calm. It's gonna be fine. They have concentration camps ready to go and this and that and the thing. I'm like, oh, okay, why not now? What are they waiting for? What's the, you know what I mean? They've been waiting generations just to fuck this us. Okay, all right. And you'll find a lot of these people are very Jesus-y, you know? They believe in that version of God, I guess. And it's like, okay, so what is God doing while all that plays out? God's not going to take care of you and your family, and you have to kill people to survive. It's like how easy, how quickly do you go from friendly neighbor to I have to kill these people to keep my family alive? Same day, dude. Same day. The power has to go out for 3 hours, and this guy's going to just fucking go ballistic. So before the assassination attempt, this dude was telling me about this is what's going to happen, blah blah blah. And then I saw the next week there was an attempt, and when he saw him, he's like, "We were just talking about it. I can't believe it." And I was like, you know, initially, whether someone's super right or super left, I kind of am just agreeable. It's like, oh yeah, yeah. It's like, yeah, I'm not going to change anybody's mind, but eventually now I let people know that I think it's all bullshit. It's like left and right wing are the same bird, right? It's like they fuck us one way this way, they fuck us the other way. Like they're at the same parties, they're hanging out together, they're having meetings where we're not at. So what do you think they talk about? Okay, when we have power, we'll fuck you this way, and when you have power, we'll fuck you that way. And there's always like, oh, we just had this one piece of legislation, it was just going to go through, but now the bad guys have power again. Shucks. That just always, oh, they just, now we can't abort our children. Damn it. God wants us to abort babies. So, anyways, um, I told him, like, I was like, did you watch it? You watched the assassin? Like, nobody fucking in the world thought it was real. That's the coolest thing. Everyone kind of just brushed it off. It's not even in the news. His ear, first of all, what what kind of fucking BB gun was it? There's nothing wrong with his ear. Like 3 days later, his ear has no hole in it. It's like, okay, that's one thing. And then two, like, just look at the video. Like it looked suspicious. Let's say. So you know, I was like, okay, let's say you're a Secret Service agent. Your job is to protect the president. Is your job just to stand here and only protect this angle of him, or is also to look for potential failures anywhere? My guess is the latter. It's like, so every single person fucked up. There's people in the audience being like, "There's a guy right there. He has a gun. Yeah, yeah, we're gonna get him. Just hold on. We just need to make sure it's a threat." So none of this fucking. You know what I mean, cool. So this very poorly written Hollywood story. I'm like, dude, like, you realize he has to be in on it. He keeps thinking like, oh, they're trying to kill him, so we need to defend him, and we need to like blah blah blah. And I'm like, okay, do you realize how easy it is? His plane would have fallen out of the sky like fucking JFK Jr. a long time ago if he was a threat, or if I mean, it has to be the same team. When I said that, he he hasn't talked to me once since then. So mission accomplished. Um, but the way I see it, you know, when even anger, I read this in my book, like anger at its root is fear. So the people afraid of Muslims and immigrants, the people that are, I mean, it's because you're afraid that it's happening. Does that make sense? I think I think because I'm sure it's done on purpose, but I'm also sure that whatever you fear, you manifest individually. Individually, your worst nightmare comes true. So I think with the advent of like propaganda films and news and all this stuff, people are programmed into fear, and then they kind of anything in reality will set them off to be afraid. So what if it is just us doing it to ourselves rather than, you know what I mean? It's an interesting concept is that we're all individually creating our own hell. Something I talked to uh, with my friends. So I don't talk about like I don't give specific details of people who hurt me, their names or anything like that. I try not to at least. And the unbelievable things that have happened to me in my life, I don't really post about because um, nobody would understand, frankly. Like I know from trying to talk to people about it as I was going through it, nobody fucking understood me. So I was like, okay, I understand it looks and sounds crazy, but this is reality is crazy. So here's what I told my friend today. She sent me something about when your third eye opens. She sent me some like list of like you have to be careful because this and this. So the way I see it, if we are conscious creators of reality, we are unconsciously creating our fears. So I've experienced that in relationships. And I know that people who have been in relationships with me will project their fear on me, and then I will become the manifest of their fears, right? I've seen it happen. And like on my side, I'm like, I don't have any ill intent. That what you're describing doesn't sound like me. But what you believe is real is all that matters. That's you can't convince Jesus people it's not Jesus. You can't convince alien people it's not aliens. You know what I mean? Like whatever they see in their world confirms everything that they believe is always confirmed every day, every day, every day. And we're all experiencing a very different reality from what I can tell. We all see things very differently. And we all objectively could be right. So this concept of your third eye opening, I think I think I experienced that. And I bring up this story. I think Sadhguru told it, where this man was wandering around and sat on a tree, and it was a hot day, and he said, "I wish I had water," and water appeared, and he drank the water. And he said, "I wish I had food," and food appeared, and then he ate the food. And then once he was full, he's like, "How the fuck did this happen? It must have been ghost." Then ghost appeared, and then he said, "How does they must be here to kill me?" And then they killed him. And it turned out he was on a wishing tree. So what if it is that? What if what is in here comes out here, as above, so below, as within, so without? What if that's what that means? What if we're just creating nightmares for ourselves in order to alchemize it? I talked in the last one about how my sister's nightmare is being next to a yappy dog. And of course she's handling it the same way she handled it last time, which is not well. You know? She's thinking of she's becoming a shitty person just having the ideas of how I can fuck these people over rather than how can I fix the problem and make everybody happy. You know what I mean? Like I see it on the outside, but she has she has to learn herself just like I did. Like not long ago I was the same person. So um, in my experience, what happened when my third eye opened is reality became exaggerated. So what's actually happening, you see an exaggerated version of it. You don't see King Kong come out of the fucking sky and try to grab you or something. It's imagine there are people around you who you would describe as snakes. And then you start to see them as snakes. Literally. That's what I've actually with my eyes experience. Not necessarily snakes, but they look on the outside what's inside. And it was never wrong. So I was, thinking that something's wrong with me, or I'm schizophrenic, or I've developed some kind of psychosis or whatever the fuck, which you go from extreme disbelief in anything to like living in hell. Like there's going to be a transition, you know what I mean? That's not going to be fun for anybody. It's like I slid down into hell. But every time I saw something in somebody, it was showing me what is inside. And it was something that I always knew they had. Without seeing it, I knew. Meaning like people who had bad intentions. So I talked in the last one about how my friend was saying she can see people's intentions and it's bothering her. So for me, I think it started like that. I started to be suspicious about people. I started to hear conversations they're having with me without me in the room. You know what I mean? Like I would see how they act in front of me and I just extrapolate the data. I'm not psychic. I'm not, well, maybe, but I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not, even people that those people love. I'd hear how they talk about them when those people aren't in the room. So what do you think they say about me when I'm not in the room? So, um, and then you can see when someone's posturing, when someone's wearing a mask, it's like I want you to see me as this. And it's exhausting to watch from the outside. It's like fuck, that's so much work. Just relax, dude. Like you can feel the energy. It's like people trying to look cool by like appearing tired or lazy or I don't know what the fuck, like shake your hand weak or I don't know what the fuck. Like I'm thinking about specific people, but um, it's exhausting. And then it's exhausting having to participate in a society like that because I have to also play this game, you know? So like during my transition, it was hard to play the game. I was just like, why are you lying to me? That's rude. You know what I mean? It felt really freeing. It probably is what my dad lives like, but it was like freeing to just be like, hey, you were just trying to manipulate me. Why would you do that? And people like don't like that, so I had to like reel it back. But the people who had bad intentions, the people who over and over showed me that they weren't trustworthy and they didn't have my back and stuff like that. I had a lot of people in my life who were vocal supporters of mine, but you catch them, you catch a glimpse or a glimmer or a look, you know, you notice that in it, and once you notice it, it's hard to reel that back. And then they'll always do something to confirm it. So everything that I needed to know was confirmed before I ever saw visually the manifestation or realization of the monster they actually are, for lack of a better word. And it was always, always, always a narcissist. I don't know why that is. So I don't know if it's a psychological thing or a spiritual thing or a combination or what. To me, it started to feel like there's multiple species on the planet. Like it was like these people can't be what I am. Like I can't even imagine getting joy from suffering the way these people do. Um, yeah, so I'm not sure if it's a metaphor or it's literal, frankly, because once you see it, it's like it is literal. Energy vampires, it's literal. I know it's literal. Um, but also that was my hell. I was living in hell, thinking everything was normal, and then when I saw, like, you know, your rose-colored glasses come off, all of a sudden, I was like, oh fuck, I'm surrounded by demons, surrounded by, unhealed people, people who are shortcut people. My friend was telling me today, she's like, guys that think about making a quick buck are like that with women too. They're trying to get quickly laid, so they're not good partners. It's like this. How you do anything is how you do everything, right? That makes sense. That tracks. So, um, I have so many examples of people that were like not just close to me, but like the closest people to me, and how slowly over time I started to see the reality of the situation, which was not only did they not have good intentions or not have my back, but it probably was always that case. They were always around for what benefit I could provide. And the problem is that, I express love by kind of providing. I'm more uncomfortable showing love in other ways. So I'll be mean, but I'll pay for stuff. And then I with once people just want your money, and then I was like, fuck you, it's my money now. And then I stopped being myself. And when I retreated into myself, like I wasn't loving anybody, I wasn't loving myself even. And then life started getting very hard. And then again, I mean, technically, did anyone do it to me? Or did I do it to myself? It's a very strange thing to realize. It's a very strange thing to realize. And then once I'm back to reality, I look at other people. I look at other people that I interact with and I observe their lives. I observe the patterns in their lives. I observe their friends. I observe, and I think how similar it looks to mine. How the situation is exactly the same or very, it mirrors. I think we're all going through kind of the same thing. So it mirrors something that not only have I been through, but that I am. And it's hard to, once you see the truth, it's hard to not see it everywhere. So like I don't see, like, imagine how terrifying it is. You leave the house and all you see is monsters. But I know the proof of monster now. Um, you can tell in a glance, honestly. Like that's they say the eyes are the windows of the soul. Like that's really like you can almost hear the inner monologue. Um, which has also made it important for me to monitor my own inner monologue. Because for a while, when I was hanging out with people I consider energy vampires, the habits that I got from them were bad, obviously. Like talking down to people, talking shit on people, like uh, seeing someone and reacting and then saying "you gross" or I mean like these are it's very low vibrational thinking. And the people that taught me that, I know that they were projecting, that they were insecure about their own looks. That's why like fat people bothered them because they were getting fat. You know what I mean? The bizarre thing is when I started thinking like maybe these people aren't human, maybe they have like some kind of spiritual disease. It's like contracting the flu, but it just stays with you. How does it work? I'm trying to really racking my brain. Like what the fuck's going on in the Middle East? Like it doesn't make sense that people do this to other people. Like it, you know, there has to be a motivation that doesn't come from just money and power. There's something else. There has to be. It's a lot of work. And okay, fear. Yeah. Okay. So fear creates monsters. It still seems like there's something missing. There's another component. So to me, what it appears to be is that there's a spiritual world that controls the physical. That what happens in the spiritual happens first and then it happens here. That's my running theory at this time. And that maybe the physical world was created by the spiritual world. You know, um, and I look at our like technology as like, in the spiritual world in the old days they talk about fighting with swords and shields. Like, why wouldn't they have technology, right? Maybe that's where our technology comes from. So I always look at some, advancement in tech. You see people talk about merging with technology. Like Elon Musk is talking about that. Like, oh, you have an implant in your brain. It's like, okay, you don't believe in God, obviously. Fine. You believe in evolution, though. So what happens when we stop using our brains? What happens over time? Go ask like the Reddit investment community. They say they call themselves smooth brains. When you stop using it, what do you think is going to happen? It's going to shrink. You want everybody to be dependent on tech, and an EMP comes or the sun gets, you know what I mean? The sun fucking has a solar flare and everybody's microchip turns off and we can't fucking buy porn or whatever the fuck's going on. hmm. Okay. All I'm saying is I'd rather use my brain. Um, convenience, convenience to a point, um, is good. But I tried to swallow the fucking blue pill, and I bought a Tesla, and it tried to one time accelerate me into a wall because there was construction in the road and it didn't know to follow, and it was straight into a wall, and I had to fight it. Sarah Connor said, "Don't trust the machines," and I got an old manual dirty car. It's like, I want to choose every gear, even less computers, please. And I'm someone who works with a computer. You know what I mean? That's my job is computers. Um, it's making people stupid and lazy, the way I see it, and people are dumb and fucking lazy enough. Um, Imagine putting your family, your wife and kids, in a car that drives itself and just being, let's just praying that everything goes right. Right? That's bizarre to me. It's like you don't want to have your hand in it at all. You're putting a lot of trust in fucking people and not people. Um, that has anything to do with spirituality, or does it? Um, in the spiritual community, they talk about how there's this concept of an antichrist, and I don't know if it's a specific person or if it's like a movement or an idea, or I don't know what the fuck. I don't know. I read, I listen, and one of the concepts they promote is leaving the planet because this planet is dying, right? It doesn't heal; it's dying, and we're killing it. So let's go kill another one. So the idea of leaving the planet and then merging with tech. So yesterday on 9/9, interestingly, was the release, or they were making a new phone with AI integrated. I don't even know what the fuck that means. What is that supposed to mean? Because every time I Google something now, it's the first thing AI says this. It's like, okay, I skip that. I don't know what AI says. I want to fucking read myself. Um, to me, it feels like it's fake. I don't know. I don't know why that. Like, I don't think it's gonna happen. Is that weird? Like this push for AI integration, I don't think is catching on. I don't think people want it, but so many people have iPhones, and now that it's built in, I guess everybody's just gonna be fucking robots. They already are, frankly. Like there's this fear, I guess, that we're gonna be mindless drones and fucking. That's already here. Everybody's already a mindless drone. Um, so it's rare to find people that have the spark of consciousness. That's what it feels like. It feels like, what movie I almost watched is Passengers. I pressed play and then I turned it off. I didn't even see like the opening like commercial. It's like everybody's asleep except one guy, and then he goes and tries to wake some lady up so he's not alone because he wants to fuck her probably. I don't know what happens in the movie, but um, like my friend group chat, they're talking about the debate and who's doing better and blah blah blah. It's like it's not on my radar. I'm not gonna watch it. I'm not gonna. I'll see memes about it. I'll know what happened. Um, but I got really into. Do you know what they're doing? And do you know who's behind this and that? And then at the end of the day, all that knowledge has made me miserable. So some random guy, maybe a year or two ago, calls me and says, "Oh, I want to talk about tuning my car, but I want to talk in person." I was like, "Fucking, I don't want to do that. Just we're talking now. Just ask your questions." He's like, "I want to know. I want to talk in person." And we had a conversation about everything except tuning when he came over. It was clear that, to me, clear that he didn't want to talk about tuning his car. So, oh, I'm probably going to sell it anyway. So, anyways, I have this video about what they're doing in Hollywood in this conspiracy video, whatever. And we had talked about conspiracies. Somehow that came up. Natural conversation with a stranger. And he's like, "Oh, I live close to you. I can drop off the movie at your house." I was like, "Who fucking cares? I didn't ask. I don't care." I was like, "Look, I've." He called me even afterwards to be like, "Oh, I have that movie. Do you want me to drop it off?" I was like, "No, go fuck yourself. We don't need to be. Are you buying something for me? I don't need to know you." And he like sporadically kept in touch with me, and he's like, "How much is it to go to your gym?" So I don't fucking work there. I sell tunes. Are you interested in tuning your car? No? Go fuck yourself, sir. I see him at the gym sometimes, and it looks like he's working out, but he looks exactly the same. Looks kind of like an Oompa Loompa that was stretched out. Anyways, my point is that he, he was like trying to push this conspiracy video on me. I was like, dude, I went as far down the rabbit hole as I care to go. Like, I don't give a fuck what they're doing. Well, they're fucking and eating children. What am I going to do about it? So if that's happening or if it's not happening, how's my like? Oh my god, I'm so worried about the kids. So that's you know, I mean, like I'll leave it up to God. Thank you. It's like you know what my job is? Not fucking. I'm not the world police. Like there's nothing I'm gonna do about it. So I started like after getting super into politics, after getting super into conspiracies and trying to learn everything I could. Just like, okay, now purge everything. It's like, how was my life? Ignorance is bliss, but like where your thoughts go, energy flows. So what if there's like two different realities? What if Earth has heaven and it has hell? And based on what you're focused on, you will live in one or the other. So each day you have a decision, like each thing that we do. So I wake up and I take a shower and then I get on the road and then someone cuts me off and I fuck you. And then you know, that's the step towards hell. And then like every interaction, I can keep choosing the wrong path and then imagine how by the end of the day, how many tokens did he put in hell? How many tokens did he put in heaven? And we don't have anyone to blame for that but ourselves. It's we can I think like control our external reality to some extent, but like there was I don't know yesterday I think maybe it was today there was a guy in a Subaru who wasn't paying attention and he was drifting around his lane. So I just got around him and I didn't use my blinker. It's like if someone is disrespectful or whatever, or not paying attention, I just give them the same courtesy. I didn't slow down and stop in front of them and say "fuck you" or whatever, but I was like, "I'm getting around you because you're a problem, and now you know that you're a problem because you noticed that I'm a problem." And he like flicked me off in the mirror, and then I thought, the old me is like, "Okay, let's stop the car and have a conversation." And then even like I made a light that he missed, and then eventually we're at the same light and he doesn't look like most people don't want smoke, but um, I have to, acknowledge that you're the asshole in someone's story too sometimes, you know what I mean? And it ended where it ended, and that was fine. I could have sat there and thought about him and let me find where he works or something. Like, if I can ask my friend at the DMV where he lives, send him a bag of dicks or put shit in his mailbox or whatever. Um, like, we make decisions that determine our reality. So my decision every day was to look into conspiracies and watch videos on it and learn who's doing what, and our food's poison, our fucking air is poison, or this, that, and the other thing. What I learned at the end of it is there is a God. We have free will. No one can take the free will away without getting punished. So, like, there was this conspiracy that we're going to be in cages, and like, that's not happening. Um, in order for your spiritual energy to be harvested, you have to give it up. It can't be stolen. So that means someone has to turn me into a piece of shit before they can harvest my energy. That's how an energy vampire works. They turn you into one of them. Okay? Again, if it's literal or figurative, up to you. But at least I'm teaching you something that I learned. So I felt like I was surrounded by energy vampires, and they're stealing my energy, and I would notice like bad things would happen to me when I noticed. I was like, I feel like something's happening. I feel like my energy is being harvested. Like my car got broken into, or I get a ticket, or bad things, just bad luck. It made me think like, oh, what if your spiritual energy, like, what if karma and all this stuff is real? So if I do good in the world, I get good. Like, I think that even in a down economy, because I've been a better person this year, that I'm doing better. I'm a good influence on people. I try to be. I'm a better version of myself. I have improvements to make still. Um, but spiritually speaking, as far as I can tell, this is how it works. And it doesn't just apply to my life. I have my own personal experiences, and I test the boundaries of things to see the function. So I know someone who does a lot of charitable stuff publicly, and something bad and scary happened to them recently. I was like, okay, you would assume that he earned a lot of good karma. But when you do something for the wrong reason, you're not earning karma. Um, or you're earning the wrong kind. So uh, it's hard to, if people are unconscious or stuck in their ways or whatever, it's hard to teach these things to people because they're resistant to it. Um, this person's ugly. This person's low class. I'm this. They're that. Um, for a while, it was triggering hearing that kind of stuff, and I wig out. So, do you think you are? The reality is, they say how you treat the least of us is you're doing it to God. Like, God resides in that person as well. That energy vampire, that low class person, that homeless person, that one of them, whatever. Even if they're wrong, even if they're assholes, whatever. So you should be careful how you treat them. You should be careful how you think about them. And it's the hardest thing. Is one thing, like, it's probably easier to control your words than your thoughts. But the real test is the thoughts, because your thoughts and everything, it will create your words and your actions. So that's where it needs to start, and that's where it needs to stop, is at the thoughts. Um, so I just noticed in my own life, when I would interact with people, if I thought, fuck this person, or why is that guy looking at me, or like I had these negative type of thoughts, I would have a negative reality. And when I change that, like in my head, instead of being confrontational, mean, or whatever, I'm like, "What's up, man? God bless you." Like I tried to change that voice. I tried to change my reality by changing that thought. And like unequivocally it works. Unequivocally, like I lived that way for a while, I lived this way for a while, I slipped sometimes, and I noticed like when you're doing everything right spiritually and then you do something wrong, you'll be able to catch it. But how many days of your life do you think you've ever lived without sinning, without doing something bad? I venture to guess the last time was when you were a child, when you were completely innocent. So, things happen to us when we're kids, or we think we're treated unfairly or whatever, and that's supposed to happen. That's supposed to happen. But the goal of every spiritual practice is to become as a child again, to get rid of these burdens, these barriers, these reasons to hate or dislike or fear. Because in reality, we're punishing ourselves. So I was talking to someone, and I mentioned that I think that they're closed off, and they were saying how they would open up if the right person came along. And I was like, well, how's the right? It's like you're spraying bug spray and then asking why I'm not getting bit. It's like your energy has to match what you want. So if you're closed off, you're telling the universe you don't want something. And I've experienced that myself. How would I know otherwise? It's like, why, you have to kind of remove your barriers to love in order to find it. And I think things just flow when you get out of your own way. It's a hard thing to do, but that is the answer, I think. So I've had to I've had such a long, strange road to get these answers. Like the big answers to the big questions. Is there a God, and how should I live, and how should I be? You try to learn from other people. You try to learn from books. The people that tried to teach me and mentor me were not people that, you know, not that I'm the most intelligent person in the world, but it's like I can read the same source material. I don't need you to translate it for me. So thank you. And then once I see who wrote the source material, I'm like, okay, I read it with an open mind. I think there's other things. And the best teacher has been God Himself. The universe outside has taught me more than any person. So I'm just leaving breadcrumbs and saying, like, okay, so this is what happened. This is what it looks like. This is how I think and feel. Someone was asking me, like, why do you record this stuff? It's like, well, I'm sure no one gives a fuck right now, but in some place and time, maybe this is important. I think it's more important than anything else I've ever done, frankly. Because one, I'm not wearing a mask. I have controversial ideas and opinions. I am not concerned about, you know, how I appear. Rather, I'm concerned about, am I saying something that I need to say? It's keeping me sane, frankly. Getting my thoughts out, because I have thoughts, and then when they live in my head, I'm living in my head. I'm like not present when I'm having conversations with people. So I have to do this regularly, otherwise I get backed up. And I have good friends that I discuss spiritual things and life things, and I saw this synchronicity, and this is what I think this is what I'm learning, and blah blah blah. And that's very important to me as well. Um, this is an interesting place, Earth, or wherever the fuck we are. I could be on another planet and I wouldn't know, actually. Could be a simulation, wouldn't know. But it's there's so much more going on here than we think. Um, there's an underlying method to the madness. Like it works according to some, bigger plan. Cabellion says, chance is a name for a law not recognized. So everything's working according to some plan. We're just unaware of it. So sometimes, like today, I had a conversation with a friend, and she was giving me hard questions that I've already, answered in my head, and it brought up latent feelings that um, I used to have, and then I thought I got past. Um, and I just went for a drive. So like after the gym, I was like, let me take the coast up. The sky was purple, and I was like, let me be alone with God. And then I was like, all right, God, show me something, show me a sign, show me this, show me that. And it's like I already, mean, like the answer is there is a God. The answer is that there is a plan. So who could be more, trustworthy with the plan? I don't need to know every step. I just need to know that I need to keep my vibration high. I need to keep going in the direction that I'm guided towards the people I'm supposed to go towards and away from the people I'm supposed to go away from. As work flows, as my spiritual development continues to develop, I adjust course, and I don't think there's any mistake we can make that's too large. And I think that Jung said the universe needs your recklessness, not your wisdom. So I think a lot of my life I was sheltering myself from things, from pain avoidance, and I see how um, when I ignored that instinct from my ego to protect myself, there's risk and there's reward. How boring is life if you always play it safe? There's this cartoon, Rick and Morty, and it was good for a little bit. There was a scene where they went into an arcade, an alien arcade, and played this virtual reality game. And the scene starts with like this kid puts the virtual reality goggles on, and then he wakes up as somebody else. And he's had it's like, Mom, I had a nightmare. There's this old man, and we were talking to an alien or something. And she says, it was just a nightmare, Billy, or whatever the fuck his name is. Roy. And then it shows him growing up, and it shows him playing football, and it shows him getting cancer and getting over the cancer. And then there's the scene is like, hey, Roy, can you get those off-white Persian carpets from the top shelf? And then he's standing on the top shelf, and then boom, dies. And then it says 56. And that was his high score. It was like, you played this game of life, and then the grandpa or whatever was like, Rick, he's like, oh, you got to 56? The difference between you and I is I never go back to the carpet store. And then he puts the goggles on and he plays the game Roy. And then other people are like, wow, he's off the grid. He doesn't have a social security number for Roy. It was just, it was really funny. Genius comedy disguised as toilet humor, actually. Like genius level thoughts disguised as fart jokes, basically. Um, it's like something I bring up. I have a friend who I'm like, you went to the carpet store. It's like you played it safe everywhere. Like every turn he made, he's like, I feel bad for him. I want to help him and try to teach him about money being energy and stuff like this. He's just he his worldview is work for the government, get a retirement plan, play it safe. Um, and seeing how his life is has made me go more in the other, more off the grid, more more like the way Rick would play Roy. So um, I've taken a lot of liberties and experiments in this world that other people aren't willing to take, like big risks with money, with my life, with to understand the nature of things. Well, what the fuck are we here for if not that? What am I supposed to do? Because I did everything that I was supposed to do, everything that I was told, and I was like, well, this is this it? This doesn't seem like it. Doesn't seem like this is fulfilling. Doesn't seem like anyone who's doing it is happy. So I started to pave my own road, I suppose, but not a lot of people on this road. Not a lot of people on this road. And then every now and then I see someone who's like maybe on a parallel path, but it diverges. You know, it's not completely parallel. Like we connect on some things and then we're far apart on other things. And it's nice to exchange thoughts and ideas with those people. But I still get the feeling more or less that I'm alone in the world. Like I don't know anybody who's like me. I feel like I'm an alien. I feel like I see and live in a different world than everybody around me. And not that these are like a cry for help or like a, you know, Gondor calls for aid, the beacon is lit. But I also think it's important to note that, you know what I mean? Because I can see like the light of consciousness in other people. Like I see it trying to be there, but they shut it down or they're not ready or whatever. So no, I don't know anyone as far along in this game as I am. There are people that are wealthier than me for sure. There are people who are buffer than me for sure. But the game that I'm playing, you know, I don't know anybody. And the hardest part about that is that oftentimes I have to gaslight myself or forget things in order to function like a normal member of society. I have to like pretend I don't know things or just not think about things. Like, who the fuck was that guy who tried to feed me conspiracies? Where the fuck did that come from? You know what I mean? The interesting question. Why was there so many people like that in my life all of a sudden? You know, the benefit of being a closed off person is when someone tries to force their way in, you're like, what the fuck? What do you want, you fuck? You shady looking cunt. And then also, thank God I can see people's masks. Like, I know you're not here for a tune, you fuck. You know what I mean? Thank God I have this ability, this superhuman power to just see people's clear fucking lies. Um, I had a lot of weird, bizarre things like that happen, and it's just like I don't know where to put it. I don't know why it was so important to fucking feed me conspiracies or convince me to do things with my money or. You know, oh, I can show you how to put. You know, someone tried to teach me. First, they said they want to teach me how to astral project and tell the future. Who wouldn't say yes to that? This is a weird conversation to have, isn't it? But like, as a kid, I think I thought that was possible. So I was like, I would like to do that. And then they had ideas of, oh, you know, like crypto was big at the time, and like you can just put it in this coin, and then the coin makes interest, and then if you just put like a large sum of money, you're just getting a fuck ton of interest, and then you borrow against it and put it back in, and then you're getting interest on the interest on the interest. I'm like, what? So where the fuck's the money coming from? You're just counting on other idiots investing in the thing. It's like this is a way to make money. Sounds like a scam, and it was. Um, I think all investments are scams. I don't believe in anything now. It's like I'll work and I'll earn money, and then I'll spend it like I'm gonna die tomorrow. I'm spending it. Um, but the benefit of gambling with those things, investments in the stock market and coins and whatever, is like I was like, oh, okay. I lost my fear of being broke. I lost my fear of money, and now it doesn't have control over me. And it's never been easier to make money. It has never been easier in my whole life. And I was right. Yesterday, my old teacher, he teaches a business class, and he wants me to talk to his students. Imagine the weird shit I'm gonna tell them. It's like, get out of school, just fuck it, rip your social security card up, walk into the woods, and don't come back. Um, yeah, I guess the short and long of it is, I've seen an exaggerated version of reality to purge my fear of things in its reality, of people using me, of not being loved, of being abandoned, of money, of not having money, shit like this, till I understood the nature of all of it, each fear one by one. So, of course, at the time, imagine you're face to face with demons of your own making. What could be more terrifying? Like, you don't understand the nature of a demon. It's like, is my life in danger? Is my soul in danger? What am I? And then you can't be like this for like 20 years. So, like, I didn't die. So I was like, okay, so permission. Okay, I understand. I need my permission. I have to give my energy to something. And then made me think about, to the smallest degree, what I think about and where I pay attention. So I don't have social media. The only thing that I do is document the fucking shit I think on this. And nobody in my life, save a few people, give a fuck about it. But I guarantee when I die, this will be very interesting if it stays on YouTube. Could easily be, you know, but also there's an Akashic record, so me thinking it is the same thing as posting it somewhere. Me thinking it is more important. In fact, it transcends space and time. Eventually, YouTube will die, but the Akashic record stays, as far as I understand it. The Akashic record is every thought a conscious being has ever had. It's basically recorded. So imagine, like, if every thought you've had is recorded, how embarrassed are you? How much of your thoughts are things that you don't want people to know about? Would you be embarrassed if someone could read your thoughts throughout the day? Would you change anything? If the answer is yes, you should probably change it. Don't you think? And if you're not embarrassed and you're saying bad things, that's probably worse, but this is America, land of the narcissists. Keep doing it. Be my guest. You're only punishing yourself. It is a fucking weird and interesting place. Um, I don't know if I'm supposed to be teaching people this, talking about this kind of stuff, because I had to learn it on my own. That's how it sticks. But how many people do you think are capable of not just learning but surviving through it? Surviving your own personal hell. It is said that no tree can reach heaven whose roots don't go down hell. Frankly, a lot of people have the idea of heaven and hell almost backwards. But I'm pretty sure this is it. We're here. We're in both. So of course I want to bring people to heaven. Why wouldn't I? But I'm doing them a disservice by not allowing them to experience hell. And then God has a plan for everybody, right? I don't know if I'm supposed to interfere by saying, hey, do you know what you're doing here? I think I'm interfering with people's karma. So I'm supposed to shut the fuck up and just watch. It'll be interesting to see, like, if my sister can overcome this yappy dog next door in a healthy way. I'm like, oh, okay, so she didn't need I mean, I don't think she needs my intervention anyways, but me speaking up and saying, do it this way is not gonna, she won't take my advice anyways. So I guess I just have to be like, all right, God has it handled. Um, how much is under my control? I was listening to Neville Goddard today, and he was saying, he's dead, but he was saying in this recording, like, the only times, like, you can get everything you want, there's divine timing at work, and there's some things that you don't get because something better is on the way for you. It's like like, these are exactly my thoughts, and I keep finding different routes that confirm it. So whether it's Abraham Hicks or Carl Jung or Neville Goddard or even this Nada Amari person, The World is a Mirror book, or this How to Pray the Shaman's Way, it's like, or The Secret. It's all the same shit, but there's a larger order to it. There's a lot of pitfalls. I don't see a lot of people talking about like the traps. Manifest a specific person or manifest this, manifest like, if there's something better for you out there and you don't think you deserve it or you don't know about it and you want to manifest a specific person, aren't you fucking with God's plan? Is that not a bad thing? I was talking to someone, they were saying that their mom would write something, I don't know if it was a name or something they want or something, in red ink and burn it. And I was like, that's fucking witchcraft, lady. That's actual witchcraft. It's like you're going directly against God. And you know what I noticed? Gypsies or fucking, you know what I mean? Like the or the people that I met in a certain social club in San Diego. It's like the people that are at least practicing things, rituals, whatever the fuck, that are meant to influence others, whatever, their life doesn't look great to me. They don't look like they're happy. You know what I mean? It's like, how is it that you have a superpower and you're still fucking up? Like, you can control, like, you can manifest a specific person or cast a love spell, or I don't know what the fuck they're doing, but, and then you're still a miserable cunt. Something's missing, you know? It would be cool to be able to get whatever you want in this world, have the cheat codes. But the world becomes very boring then. You don't want to live it anymore. You start to try to survive it. And I'm here to live. So when people approach me and like, do you want to know the secrets? We can get you over your traumas and this and that. And they're like, thanks, I'll do it myself. No gracias. Because I've experienced that when I got the cheat codes for a game and I bought everything I wanted. I was like, okay, well, Now I'm bored. Stop playing. What's the point? I think it's far more fun to figure out. Like the things I've learned and experienced in life, it's fucking unbelievable. It's fucking unbelievable. Sometimes I tried to write it down or think of like how to write it down as a metaphor in a book or you know what I mean, a book to about my life or something. It's like I don't know who would be interested in that. But this like 1,000 entry fucking journal that I'm doing is explaining everything. Someone much more creative than I can put it into a metaphor and sell it once I'm gone. Don't bother me about it. But don't make everyone gay. I can't wait for this phase of art to change, you know what I mean? Where they just shoehorn. It's like, I want to transport me to the place and tell me a fucking story. Stop making everyone gay minorities. Tell me the fucking story. It's like, how many people in fucking, you know what I mean? In the past were gay minorities in fucking medieval England. It must have been so bad for gay people back then because no one took showers and they're only doing butt stuff. I imagine. I never thought about it, I guess. But what a they must really like it. You gotta just be playing with shit. And others stinks. Gay people in the modern era are the luckiest gay people ever in history, as far as I know. This ended very weird. I'm not even going to attempt to save it. This is how it should have ended. So, anyways. This is exactly how it should have ended. Alright, I've talked enough. It's time to do other things, but I don't even know if there was a lesson in this, but I talked about spiritual stuff, so maybe there's a nugget in there that is useful. And maybe it's just, imagine when they had diarrhea. They probably had diarrhea perpetually in the old days. When was that hole clean? Is this why people were dying so much and so early? Anyways, okay, I'm gonna do other stuff now. Think about other stuff too. Maybe eat and have a protein shake. Goodbye, good luck. Um, and if someone tries to feed you conspiracies, tell them promptly to go fuck themselves. Someone tries to teach you how to astral project or tells you that when you're having a sleep paralysis nightmare to leave your body, tell them to go kick rocks and go fuck themselves. Um, and hopefully they get transported back in time to the Middle Ages where nobody cleaned their asses and they get fucked by a dirty dick. Thank you, goodbye.